Welcome to the 23rd episode of the Hungarian History Podcast. I am Szántai Gábor. In previous episodes, I and my guests were talking about the Hungarian-Turkish wars, and we will return to that series, but now you are listening to a special sub-series, The Voices of 56, dedicated to the personal stories of the Hungarian Revolution and the 200,000 people who fled, and to their children who may not speak Hungarian anymore. In this episode, let me bring you the story of Julius Gyula Bogár, a 98-year-old freedom fighter now living in the United States, and his daughter Kathy. This is their testimony. Mr. Bogár is also the author of the book called Glory to the Heroes Who Died for Hungary in 1956. This series is part of the only English-language podcast in the world devoted entirely to Hungarian history, a living archive reaching a global audience. My mission is to ensure these voices are preserved. The story of Julius and Kathy is one of courage and legacy. So let's listen. This is Szántai Gábor speaking from Budapest, and I have a fantastic guest on the Hungarian History Podcast. His name is Gyula. Hello, Gyula. It is nice to meet you. Would you like to introduce yourself to us, please?
Yes, my name is Julius Bogár, angolul, magyarul születtem.
English.
Bogár Gyulának 1920. Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Julius Bogár, and I was born 1927, January 4th, in a small town in the north part of Hungary.
I see.
And
Yes?
my life is unbelievable. I just don't believe it even myself how I get to here, because I was 33 years when I lost my left eye, and I have only one eye. But
Since 3 years old.
luckily not visible, so nobody knows except me. I have only one eye.
And where are you located now?
Oh, I located in Hawaii, in Oahu Siget. This is the best Siget in this area. It was built very nicely and still building new buildings.
I see. And which was the town in northern Hungary where you were born?
It was close to the north border. The name of the town is Sejeb.
I see. My family is from the neighborhood, Salgótarján.
Oh, well, that is old, north enough in Hungary.
Yes, please, Gyula, can you tell me more about your interesting life and your involvement in the revolution and your later years, please? Everybody would appreciate that. The world is thirsty for your voice.
Well, I have very difficult to talk in a short period because I was involved at 17 years old when not Russia, but was Soviet Union reached the Hungarian border. I was volunteer for fight, and I was fighting in Budapest, Ostrom we call it, and it was unbelievable how the people were suffering and have no food, no medicine to even fight. But and the weather was very cold, so I have to actually deny that I was involved, because in February 24, they have to notify everybody who was involved in or was in a soldier. So my friend said he won't report me if I leave. So I was up walking to Gyöngyös. It was a high snow cold. It was a very bad walk to me. And finally I get home just late February in 1952.
Wow. I can hear you.
My feet was frozen. I have to go to the hospital, and they tried to, and luckily it was okay. They found out a way to get better.
Yeah.
And I, after the war, I went back to my family, and I denied I was a soldier. And when I went back to Budapest, I said, I was with my family. I don't know nothing about the war, actually. Russia went over the town, and there was no big fight. So this is, I try to forget, because if they find out I was involved with a fight, close to 1 million civil was taken to the Soviet Union, and half of them never come back. I have friends, and it was, this is, I don't know about the Turkish, they took the soldier also, but this was it's terrible to go there and no real area to even live, and no food, and more than half of them died there.
And I know it was the Malenki robot. Hundreds of thousands of people perished there. That was a very sad part. I can believe you that you were afraid of it.
Yes, it was when I saw the Russian soldier walking, I tried to turn around, and actually they captured me 4 times. And I was lucky able to escape from them. It was a whole storm, and after I tried to even learn or sports to not involved with the Communist Party, and I went to the university, as Műszaki Egyetem,
Technical University, yes?
Technical University, when the so-called Hungarian actually was uprising. We don't want any revolution. It was only 10 years when we have see and live under that terrible times when the Russia occupied Hungary. So we don't want to fight, but we was forced. Actually, that is probably a top secret that Russia was planning to go back to that place when they was at the Second War, and they was already in a Polish border. But Mao Zedong sent a doctrine that the socialist country not supposed to be interfere in not interfere with each other. And the Khrushchev was back, and in Poland they get some release, and there was peace after that. Russia, it was the world most powerful military. They have an atom bomb. The United States and Anglia was build up the so-called Marshall Plan in Németország and Germany and Japan, they build up those, so they are not spend any money for the weapons. And it was lucky that Chinese president was able to stop the probably the other war, but Russia was so powerful, it was just unbelievable. So, and we in Hungary, we was not much help. It was not needed, the Poland, but we want to put the right on them in general for be let them to see the Hungary's friend of the Poland. So we try to just peacefully not even think about, because it was close to the Second War. We feel it, and we don't want to fight even if we was attacked. So we went to the general, and we heard Imre Nagy will talk from the parliament. So the people was heard, actually, it was more than 200,000 people was on a parliament or a Kossuth plane. So, but Imre Nagy was start his speech. Dear comrade, and the people was talking back, we are not comrade anymore, and the fui, and not even just walk back, but was not able to see what the newspaper read published about his speech. It was no any speech from there. The people was very upset, and they started going home, and we heard Stalin's so-called
statue.
They put it down, and very soon after, they have somebody coming from the radio and say the secret police was shooting the civilian who want to have just what the student want, the radio broadcast, but they denied it, and the secret police was shooting. So I was lucky. It was a military radio auto, and I realized my friend was inside, and I was so tired. I want to go home, and I said, just Peter, just
Pick me up.
bring me up or pull me up. I am very tired. And they said, what's going on? They don't know nothing. I told them about the 16 point and read something or talking to the people when they are almost went home. And when I heard that news about the secret police, I talked to the microphone. Everybody go to the radio, stop the bleeding. We are not killing each other. And somehow the people was starting to move toward the radio. And just not a short time after, he said the military came through the market, and they tried to disturb that people who was on the street. And I was almost tried to tell them that Hungarian soldiers not bring or try to involve the civilian. So I asked them to go to the radio and stop the bleeding, what's going on there. And it was, they went there, and their leader wanted to talk to them, but they killed him at the gate. So all people actually, they don't want to start fighting. Some just give their weapon to the youngster, and certainly the youngster was too much. And they get weapons, and they was fighting back. That fight went over next day about 10 o'clock when we capture the radio station and take that who was still alive in a Trafford Street. It was a we call the Trafford would say Rendezvous. But we heard later they left them out at evening, so nobody was Spanish when they was fighting through that almost all night. And about 3 o'clock in the morning, we heard that the Soviet tank was coming to help the radio. But when they arrived, I was at the Calvin there. It was so full. They cannot move the tank, stop, and they cannot move because it was unusually and nobody moved. So they was not able to go to help the radio. But they was able to start somebody talking to Russian, and they understand they don't want to fight. But they get the next day at 11, they start shooting from the Astoria through the Keleti pályaudvar, we call it. And when they reach the railway station, when they reach the close to the main street, it was one tank pool that the Kunhat went close to the main street when this not the police but the youngster killed the chauffeur. So the tank went on a sidewalk and overturned, but the tank went all the way to the Rákóczi stair, we call it. And there was a youngster was ready with a Molotov cocktail, we call it, with a gasoline lined up and thrown to the tank, and that's blew up. The rest of that tank from that time.
Did you find there? Did you throw the Molotov cocktail too?
I was able to get a grenade, and I was throwing the grenade, but was not really needed because there was so many youngsters between 12 and 20. They was under the entrance, and also was on the first, second floor, and they was safe. The tank cannot shoot straight up on the upper floors, so they just went to the window and threw their Molotov cocktail over. And the tank, it was an old type of tank. The intake air coming through inside, and when they get the flame and the smoke inside, who was inside, they tried to escape, but they catch fire and they died at close to the tank. And this was almost unbelievable. So easy to blow up a tank, and it was organized. And if they tried to blow up the first tank, and the rest of it was not able to go through the narrow, actually, street, and they was blown up one by one. And that happened almost over 2 days. And the Russia leader for a tank realized they cannot do anything with that youngster and the Molotov cocktail. So he asked the Hungarian tank leader to let them or shoot them out from Budapest. And certainly he was follow them, and was no any big fighting when they move out from Budapest. And this is what actually very important, because that a few hundred civil youngsters chased out the powerful tanks. It was never happened before. So it was, they tried to get the ceasefire in a few days, and the Kremlin, or actually was Khrushchev, they was very upset, because first time they think they will happen same thing than they happened in 1933. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 53,
And
yes.
they start the revolution in Berlin, but when Russia start to shooting, everybody running in the inside the house. They thought this will be happening in Hungary too, but just happen in the opposite. Russia have to leave Budapest, and this was about October 28. But the Russian get very upset about what happened. The occupied Hungary sent more military than in the Second War, and they start shooting in November 4. Doesn't matter what, it was school or actually the Rokush it was a this church next to the courthouse, and they were shooting just like a crazy, and luckily that all over the world it was almost everybody has a television, and they saw what going on in Hungary. They know there's no war, there's no reason to fight, and what could the Soviet so brutal, and they are destroying buildings wherever they want. So who was a communist? They saw this brutality. they tear up their paper that was a Communist Party membership, or lined up, burned those identification, and that what looks like Russia shot one building, and they saw that what happening. It was just in Africa, even French and Italy, the communists threw their membership out, and they don't be a communist anymore. So Russia looks like was destroying themselves, and that's happened. No friend anymore with the Soviet Union, and they try to be built up, but nobody even wants to talk to them. So after 34 days,
years. After 34 years.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It was 34 years after that incident. They disappeared without a fight, without a just it's like the secret how they actually disappeared without even know what's happening. So that was never happened in the world's history, that a small people was able to build, beat that powerful Soviet Union, that they have to be appear. It was Roma and the Turkish was there for fighting, and they disappeared, but not this secretly. And that is almost shame the Hungarian, which is still a communist, they don't have anything to say about it. It was in 1969 when in Los Angeles we built the monument for that memorial for those people who give their life for that freedom, which actually it is we try to publish or release, not forget those people who give their life for that so-called Hungarian uprising. And
how did you escape from Budapest?
Oh, well, I escaped in Christmas Eve. I was working at the Iparterv, and they tried to find out who they find out somebody was captured. They said he was catched too, and they told me the secret police was looking for me at home. So I was decided I never want to have catch between my family. I have a 3-year-old Kathy and my wife. So I decide I try to go to hide somewhere. But luckily, I have a Hungarian and so Russian language document that I was the architect and checking that building which was on was not was living there. So when I was asked by documentation, this was helping me go up to there. But from there to the border, it was a bit more than 50 kilometers, and was so much cold and snow, and just on the bare snow walking through the border, and it was a civil man who was helping us to get to, I think it was Niederdorf, a small town in Austria. And from them, because I have my life was bleeding, they told me I better go to Vienna, and the bus went there, and they said, well, we should go to the police because they will help. So I went there, sleep in the jail, and the next day we went to the hospital, and from them it was the student get some actually free lunch in almost every restaurant, and they was helping whatever we need, clothes, shoes, and certainly for food. And it was,
They helped.
I tried to get to the United States, but my wife with Kathy, they escaped because one night, actually was 3 nights, and I was almost waiting for them because I told them just escape because no other way to believe further in a communist. They escaped through Austria, but they went to Yugoslavia, all the way up to Macedonia. They was sent there, and finally, it was a big fight. I went to the village minister in Austria to get help, and they finally let them out. And when I was almost ready to go to the ambassador in the US to start with the documentation, and he said, well, you could go, but your family, can you with you? Because in the US law, no person should go to the Austria or other country, because the third country, they not allowed to go to United States. So I was hoping go to Venezuela or Switzerland, but someday was almost May 1957 when I could get a phone call and they said we should show up next morning on a U.S. embassy. And I went there and they was taking all kind of a question and the documentation. And they said, yes, we are allowed to go to the United States. So we went to Germany, and from them, the military plane bring us to the United States.
It must have been very hard to you, Gyula bácsi, and finally that you have arrived to the United States.
Okay, my father has said many times over and over again that the reason that the Soviet Union collapsed was due to the Hungarian freedom fighters of 1956 who gave their lives for freedom.
Thank you very much, Katie. Thank you to you and to your father, your dedication, and I wish you and your father very good health and all the best. Thank you for being part of this. Goodbye.
Thank you. You're welcome. It was a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you, Kathy. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
The story of Julius Gyula Bogár and his daughter Katie is now a part of our living history, a testament to courage and the legacy preserved. Never forget how Katie summarized the importance of 1956. If their story moved you, please help us find more. Subscribe to the Hungarian History Podcast wherever you listen it. Share this episode with someone who should hear it, and consider supporting my mission to preserve these voices. Links are in the description. The Voices of 56 series continues. If you or someone you know has a story, your story is our history. This has been the Hungarian History Podcast. I am Szántai Gábor. Goodbye, sziasztok, a viszonthallásra!